Hey there, friends. You are receiving this video because you are either on the youth council for the church or you are a youth ministry volunteer in the trenches for Sunday school or Wednesday nights or as a substitute. You are important. So together over the next several weeks, I think it's like 19, we are going to be reading Purpose-Driven Youth Ministry by Doug Fields. And today we are just looking at the foreword, the acknowledgments, and the introduction. Basically, all the stuff that comes before component 1, the power of God. So, some things that I noticed is, for all of you sports fans out there, yes, I'm talking to you, Lily Thrift, he uses a sports illustration on page 15. He says, a true dynasty is stronger than its one great player. It must also have supportive key players, a motivating head coach, experienced assistant coaches, a position in the free agency market, a risk-taking owner, a productive front office, and a strong farm system, or luck with the draft. And he talks about how a lot of times youth ministry is, okay, we've got a youth director or a youth pastor, and here you go, make it awesome. And that's just not what youth ministry is. I can't do youth ministry by myself. You can't do it by yourself. It takes a great team, and that's truly what we have here at Southport Baptist. Page 17, he says, where there is health, there is eventual growth. Having a purpose-driven youth ministry does not simply mean that you have a purpose behind everything that you do. It means that you pursue and reflect the purposes that were commanded by Jesus and manifested in the early church, the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. Basically, everything that we do in our youth ministry here at Southport needs to fit into disciples making disciples. That's our church's mission statement. It comes straight from Matthew 28, 18 through 20. And if it doesn't fit into that, we don't need to do it. He lists 5 purposes of evangelism, worship, fellowship, discipleship, and ministry. He says a purpose-driven youth ministry will have programs and structures that reflect these purposes. He says, I don't want to direct programs on page 18. I want to disciple students. So as you're reading through this book, something that helps me, and you may be totally against writing in your book, that's totally fine, but something that helps me is to go through and highlight the things that really stick out to me. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you in these videos every single week. You will also notice at the end of each chapter, there are going to be some discussion questions. There are 7 of them. Now, are we going to discuss all 7 every week? No, we are not. So I may throw out 1 or 2 questions, or I may throw out the question, what's one thing that really resonated with you this week? Or what's one thing that you disagreed with? You never can tell. So make sure that you are watching these videos. Each week, I'll send them to you. I'll try and get them to you by Friday each week. It might happen a little before that. But watch the video and then make sure that you answer the question through the group text. I thought about doing it via email, but I know a couple of our friends here on this group do not do email very much outside of work, and I totally understand that. So we're going to use this group text as the way to talk back and forth. So make sure that you have read all the way up until page 27. And the question I want you to answer this week is, what is one thing you think is important for our youth to either know or do by the time they finish high school? What is one thing that you think is important for our youth to either know or do before they finish high school?